Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that setup and how-to for the game Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. So let's go ahead and dive into my thoughts about this one, starting with the components. So with this one, it was a Kickstarter, so I forget exactly what all was Kickstarter exclusive versus retail. However, I'm going to judge it based on the copy that I do have with its primary components, namely with the dual layer boards. So for starters, those dual layer boards, unlike Terraforming Mars, the original game that have these flimsy cards for player boards, these are really good, thick stock, well done, and with grooves so that your cubes stay in place. So right away, I'm already excited about the additional quality that they added into this game. Additionally, the cubes themselves are more, translucent cubes for the currency and everything, and so they're better quality. Whereas again, in Terraforming Mars, they were essentially painted. So very quickly with Terraforming Mars, I got a lot of chipping away at the paint on the 10, 5, and 1 cubes. Whereas here, they're just those colors defaultly. So it's going to stand up the test of time a lot better. So very excited about that. The cards have a beautiful linen finish, and as you may have saw in the video, I did actually take the extra step and went ahead and ordered the player mats. More and more, I'm starting to enjoy the player mats for games just because of the level of organization that they bring, especially when you're playing a game that's heavy on the cards. And for all intents and purposes, yeah, there's a main board, there's a small player board, but at its core, it's a card game. So those are some really good things about the components of this one. They've also got shrink trays for organizing the currency as well as the ocean tiles and forest tiles. So really, I don't think I have anything negative to say about the quality of the components of this one. So thank you guys for taking the steps and the measures, both the quality of the components, the shrink trays for organization, as well as there's some additional organization cards to separate which are project cards versus where the phase cards go, where everything else goes. So even the insert itself was thought out. So it's not like Terraforming Mars where it's a bunch of baggies in air. All right, enough about the components. Let's dive into the game. And there's a lot of similarities between Ares Expedition and Terraforming Mars. They've also done a good job of, I think, making the cards a little bit better. So example, printing the tags of the card on the side, super helpful. They're right there, very easy to spot and identify the different tag types of the cards. The iconography is still a little, clunky, especially as it comes to the temperature and the oxygen. It'll have like a highlighted border when it comes to if the temperature needs to be in the yellow or white zone or anything like that. And once you get used to it, it's fine, but at a glance, it took me a little minute. So some of the things that I really liked about Ares Expedition is that it was very similar to Terraforming Mars in all the right ways. You got a great engine builder. You're building everything up, and where it then differs though is where they tried to take away from the complexities of having so many choices on your turn by planning a phase and then everyone just doing that phase as it happens. So it kind of, was an attempt to help streamline everything that was going on. So in Terraforming Mars, and I'm going to make a lot of comparisons, obviously, in the base game, in the main game Terraforming Mars, on your turn, you've got a massive amount of decisions to make on the many things that you can or cannot do when taking your 1 or 2 actions on your turn as it comes around. Whereas here, as I said, you're just doing whatever the phase tells you you can do. And that level of planning and strategy is pretty cool. Some of the things that I necessarily didn't like or were a small annoyance to Ares Expedition is that for all the streamlining that they were attempting to do, I got to say that the iconography was not as clear and ever present in this game. So even when you're kind of, trying to butt up the cards so that you can see what effects and actions are available for you to take, pretty much every time I was still referring to the verbiage or the wording on the card so that I could make sure that it's exactly what I wanted to do. Additionally, it's not very clear as to the wording of when you should increase your production. So we, in the first early playthroughs of the game, when we were doing those increases of production, we were increasing it for maybe something that said, when this triggers, you take additional production. So it doesn't explicitly say to increase the track, and it says actually to count the card. So that really bothered me that it wasn't very explicit on increasing the track on your player board, though it was relatively implied. So that was a pretty massive annoyance, though, to say the least. So why should you want to add Ares Expedition into your collection? Well, one, you love Terraforming Mars as much as anybody else. You like engine builders, you love good quality components, and you like a little bit additional streamline and slight variance from the main game. Reasons why you may not want to add Ares Expedition into your collection is because as much as it tries to streamline, it does still complicate things in some areas. So as heavy and in-depth as Terraforming Mars, regular is, Ares Expedition doesn't do a whole lot to alleviate some of that complexity as much as they try. So I guess that's going to do it for this video, guys. I really enjoyed Ares Expedition, and it's going to be really a toss-up as far as which engine builder to bring to the table. I may actually want to get Ares Expedition to the table a little bit more, only because of the organization of the box inherently and the really neat playmats that I got to help organize the play area. But otherwise, guys, that's going to do it for this one. If you have any questions about Ares Expedition, please leave a comment down below. Happy to answer them as best as I can. If you've enjoyed the video and you like the content, I do appreciate the support, everyone. So please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for watching.